Here on the YouTube stage at PAX Prime 2015, we are about to take a look at not one, not two, but three excellent games, all wrapped up into one pretty little package for y'all. Courtesy of the folks at Naughty Dog. One of those guys that joined me right now, Eric, hello.
Hey, Chris.
Hi, man. Uncharted collection.
Yeah, man.
You guys taking those Uncharted games as sort of the main PS3 classics, slamming them all together, making them look real nice.
Yeah.
Not that they didn't already look real nice. I mean, how much wiggle room do you guys really have?
It was pretty incredible. We actually partnered with Blue Point Games down in Austin, so they took the upres over, and you know, they actually blew it out. There's pretty incredible to see. Like, you go back to Uncharted 1, and you're like, okay, this was 2007. That was a little shakier time.
Yeah, we're 8 years on from there now.
Right.
You're gonna see a difference.
Oh yeah, it's almost like, you know, and a lot of the things they were able to do too with our, you know, the PS4 now, they could take our cinematic models, and those cinematic models became the gameplay models for this, and they were able to tweak them even more. So like the character, the faces, and like how they look, it's really crisp. It looks
That's
awesome.
fantastic, and of course, like the facial expressions of characters in Uncharted, super key and such a big part of expressing the individuality of these awesome characters that pull these adventures together.
Yeah, that story and sort of that emotive effect. We want you to like connect with the characters every time you're playing the game, so it brings that on and makes you, you know what's up. So
well, here's our boy Nathaniel.
Yes.
Just cruising, going for a nice, pleasant Sunday drive.
Right out
through war-torn Tibet.
Guys with AKs. Yeah, it's Nepal. Yeah.
I think it literally just said that on the side.
Yeah.
So this we're in Uncharted 2, and a little bit of the ways into the game, but things are about to go bad for our boy, as they tend to go.
He's got a proclivity for getting in these situations. You know, it happens.
All right, you got it.
So what, like, you know, obviously, like, these are games that people know and love for many years across, like, many different adventures. What's like cool up for you about having this project, about bringing these games like sort of up to speed and remastering them?
It's amazing to just, I mean, this game, especially Uncharted 2, was the reason like I even wanted to apply to work at Naughty Dog. It was like one of those games I played it, and I was like, you know, I got up to, I think, level 61 or 62 in multiplayer.
Wow.
So I was just into it. I was crushing it. I beat it on crushing. It is honestly the only game I've ever platinumed.
Oh, really?
So it's one of those games that's like super dear to my heart.
It is. I don't know. I can't claim to have platinumed it, but it's like you play that game, you play this game through, and there's just so many moments that just astound you and excite you and are just so fantastic, like so best in class.
Yeah.
That it's one of the all-time greats for sure.
Yeah. You go moment to moment in this game too, and there's just so much stuff that drops your jaw, and you're like, how did they do that at that time? Especially when I was on the outside looking in as a fan, I was like, I don't know how any developer is keeping up with them.
How could you possibly? What magical organization could pull this thing together?
Yeah.
It's a pretty good organization to go to work for, I guess.
Yeah. It ended up working out. It's pretty awesome.
All right, so you did mention multiplayer in your own experience, but there's not multiplayer coming back into the collection. Is that correct?
Correct. Well, we have multiplayer in the form of Uncharted 4 beta.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we thought, and it's really, it sounds weird, but 2009, you know, when this game came out, people are still playing Uncharted 2 even, and then 2011 when Uncharted 3 came out, people are still playing multiplayer in that. So we were looking at that in these communities. I still get a couple videos every week from like Uncharted 3. They're like, oh, can you add this to Uncharted TV? Can we put this in the game? And I'm like, all right, we don't want to like fracture those communities and tell everybody now like go play on PS4. So we were like, all right, what's the next best thing? We're gonna give them the Uncharted 4 multiplayer beta.
The Uncharted 4 multiplayer beta, that's next year sometime. Do you guys have a date on that?
Yeah, we don't have a date quite yet, but we're going to be releasing some info about it really soon.
All right, so it's the single player experience here, of course. That's like one of the best things about this game. It's so good. But the single player experience, you know, in terms of the gameplay mechanics, it does evolve over the course of these 3 games. So, and this I think was an interesting thing to sort of play, you know, to sort of play the recent Gears of War, you know, enhanced or updated Ultimate Edition, seeing what lessons they took from later games and applied to that game. So, like, where are you guys pinning down sort of the movement, the grenade throws, the aiming from across those 3 games?
Yeah, so we looked at what sort of, one of the biggest issues that came up was the aiming in Uncharted 3 when that came out, and we looked how that functioned still, and we were like, all right, when did we actually get aiming right? When was it like the sweet spot with it? And Bluepoint even did a little bit more research. We've been playing this game for what, like 8 years now, like these different games. So we figured out what the best sort of aiming mechanics were, and we tried to apply it across all 3 of these titles. So you sort of get a different feel for the game, and it'll feel like something new, and it's running now at 1080p and this really high frame rate, so it plays quite differently.
Now, do you ever have these moments where you go back and you look at it through, 1080p, running real quick on the frame rate? Do you ever have moments where it's like it looks too good, or like the frames are too fast? Because like that's a thing, Like if your frame rate's not in balance with the experience,
right.
The bigger number is not always the better number.
Yeah, and that's something we pride ourselves on. So we did a lot of tweaking with this to make sure it looked good. One of the most remarkable things is we have some sort of, if you look at some of these buildings in the background, if you go back to the old PS3 game, it sort of looks like a brown square on top of, because the draw distance, you couldn't draw things in the background. But now, like Vic's coming up on here in the back, the smoke you see and everything, you see the details and the textures on everything. It's really remarkable. That's one of the biggest things I noticed about this.
And Uncharted has always been a series where the environmental design is so good and so rich that multiple times per level I'd find myself, I'm in a dire situation, like guys are trying to kill me. Like it's a pretty high stakes, but I'm like just standing around like gawping at buildings, like, oh my god, those plants are so green.
So pretty.
Oh, the painting on this mural that's like half faded in this ruin is so good.
Yeah, I mean, like even the little
little skull
map,
here, right?
It's incredible. Our environment and our artist teams are remarkable in how meticulous they are with all the details to everything. And even going back and looking at some of this, they're like, oh wow, now at this resolution, that's how I wanted it to look. And like it's awesome to just sort of like see it almost become like the ultimate vision of what they had in mind.
And that's cool, from an artist perspective, to get to see your work brought to life in a slightly different way, or maybe realized in a more truer vision of what you had originally imagined. Do you guys have any of those kind of like, I don't know, like reactions or any kind of extra content in terms of like the development side or Uncharted history in the collection?
Yeah, so I mean, we're going to be doing some, we're going to get the developers on camera, and we're going to do some live streams and have them play through this. We've had a few developers in our studio, look at the collection. They're like, wow, I forgot we even put this in the game. This was really fun at the time. Or that, oh man, we should have changed that. That looks bad. Like it still looks bad, but we'll make it work. So one of those things. It's just great to hear those reactions. And what we're going to do is we're going to have them get on camera, get on live stream, and just sort of walk through like the times that they did. They made the Nepal level. They made whatever level and that sort of thing.
All right, so like follow Naughty Dog on Twitter or something if you want to keep an eye on that stuff.
Yep.
Cool. You mentioned sort of, oh, we maybe shouldn't have done it that way. Did you guys do any tweaks about stuff that you maybe shouldn't have done? Any little things to sort of just help yourselves out a little bit, help the player out?
Well, it's crazy because when you get up to the higher resolution, especially with Uncharted 1, like, back with lower poly count and lower resolution, you can sort of fudge stuff with the lighting and sort of, you hid stuff and you angled it away, but we actually went down to Bluepoint and they did a playthrough of each of the games while we sort of sat there and we're like, all right, that floodlight or that spotlight, you can see it looks like flat right now. Like we got to figure out how to tweak that lighting so it's more dynamic and it sort of fits into everything. So there was a ton of stuff that was done like that, and it's pretty incredible to see like those changes being made as we play through the game now.
Very cool. Kind of a surreal experience for you as one Uncharted fan, now still an Uncharted fan, but now a guy with his hands on the Uncharted collection, which is coming out in just a month or two now.
Yeah, October 9th it'll hit stores, and it's going to be remarkable. I'm excited for people to get it in their hands, especially there's this whole new generation of players that may have never even owned the PS3 to play it. So now you can check it out on your PS4. get their hands on it, and then they're going to get their, dip their toes in the Uncharted 4 beta, which is going to be awesome.
The multiplayer beta coming sometime next year. And
It's coming.
Coming sometime.
We're coming sometime soon. We're going to give a date very soon about it.
All right, announcement coming soon on that, and then Uncharted 4 announcements coming soon on that one
Absolutely,
too.
yeah.
Like maybe now, soon?
No.
Okay, probably not
Right
now.
now? No.
All right.
Now.
Eric, thank you so much, man, coming on.
Awesome.
Uncharted Collection
Thanks,
is
Chris.
looking excellent. Folks, for all the Uncharted Collection hotness, you got to check out gaming.youtube.com/GameSpot, and we'll be sure to keep you guys updated as always. We'll be back with Guitar Hero Live just a few minutes.